Welcome back to the channel. Aaron here from the Bitcoin Bros, and we're going to be getting into some updates here today. And we're going to start off looking at strategy. We're going to get into some Bitcoin updates. We're also going to be looking at like what just happened in the crypto market with Trump and China, everything that happened there. There's a lot of fear in the market right now, so I want to just talk about that. Bitcoin Bros thoughts on everything going on right now. But let's just go ahead and jump into it. As you can see right here, this is Saylor saying, "Don't stop believing." Another dot here going to be posted on the strategy Bitcoin price buy tracker here, strategytracker.com. And this basically means that Saylor has bought more Bitcoin over the past week. So really interested to hear, what do you guys think? How much do you think strategy has bought in the past week? Leave that in the comment section below. My guess is going to be a slow week of around 50 million. Hopefully strategy was able to buy that Bitcoin dip when it dipped down on Friday. We're going to talk more about that in a second, but before we get into it, want to share this with you guys. iTrustCapital, they have a partnership with us. You guys can sign up using our referral code. The link will be in the comment section and the description below, and you're going to get $100 for free for just signing up with iTrustCapital. And they had this new PCA institutional custody account, which makes your crypto assets very secure. The reason why they came out with this new product was a lot of these other exchanges, people were getting their funds drained and they're losing all their money. With this PCA account, that's not going to happen to you. You can hold your Bitcoin, or if you're interested in other crypto assets, I believe they have gold and silver as well, right in this account, and you don't have to worry about it getting drained. And they're going to give you $100 free for signing up. You can either go the PCA route, or if you want to do a traditional Roth or SEP, you can do that as well. Especially if you're like rolling over a 401k from a job that you're leaving, this could definitely be something that you check out. So it's basically free money, guys. Check it out. The link will be in the comment section below and the description below. Just make sure you either use that link, or you can use our promo code BTC Bros 10. Like I said, you get $100 for free there. So make sure to check out iTrustCapital. But to get back into the crypto liquidation events, you can see right here, October 10th to the 11th was the biggest crypto liquidation event ever. $19.5 billion of total liquidation. People were on Twitter and they have lost millions and millions of dollars. And we have preached on our channel, if you're going to use any type of leverage, be very careful. People who are trading Bitcoin probably didn't really see any liquidations unless they're using a high leverage. But if you're using like a 2x leverage on Bitcoin on these exchanges, you probably didn't get liquidated. But a lot of these altcoins, they went down 50, 60, 70% in a 24-hour period. It just shows you how risky this crypto market and how illiquid it is outside of Bitcoin. And that's why you have to be very careful when trading, any type of leverage on any of these exchanges, because you can definitely get liquidated and lose a lot of your money. That's why we always recommend just buy the Bitcoin, buy strategy, buy something and hold it for a long period of time. And that's where you're really going to see the exponential gains. Over 1.6 million traders were liquidated, the biggest crypto dump ever. And this is really interesting here from the Kobisi letter. They're saying that this whole thing with Trump talking about China raising their export controls, that was all just a bunch of miscommunication between China and Russia. And you can read this right here. They're basically just saying it was a big miscommunication and they expect another trade deal soon. And Trump just came out recently today and said, don't worry about China. It will all be fine. High respect, President Xi just had a bad moment. He doesn't want depression for his country, and neither do I. The USA wants to help China, not hurt it. So everything we saw over the past couple of days on Friday was just noise. And there were some traders out there who put in massive shorts right before Trump made the announcement on the 100% tariff on China. There was some traders who made a lot of money by shorting the market right before he made that announcement. So there may be some insider trading going on as well. We know the markets are manipulated. This is why you buy Bitcoin and just hold it over a long period of time. So you don't really have to worry about all this manipulation. If you would have stopped looking at the market on Thursday and probably tune back in sometime late next week on Thursday, prices could potentially be back up to where it was at before all this happened on Friday. And now today we're getting hit in the opposite direction. So a lot of shorts are now getting liquidated, $225 million worth of shorts. So people were getting liquidated on their longs, and now because we're having volatility to the upside, the shorts are getting liquidated. You just have to be careful when using leverage. Leverage, especially anything more than like 3-4x leverage, you get really, really risky, especially if you're trading outside of Bitcoin, you're trading other cryptos. I mean, these other cryptos can move 10, 20, 30% in a single day. And as we saw, a lot of cryptos moved to the downside of 50, 60, 70, 80% in a single day. And that's why there was so much liquidations and why people lost so much money. Buying spot is better if you have money that you know you don't want to lose and you want to save it for the rest of your life. You're going to want to buy that spot Bitcoin, buy strategy, buy something that you believe will be here, 10, 15, 20 years from now, and just put that into cold storage. It's the best way to buy Bitcoin, not financial advice though. And we can see here the market right now is in extreme fear, which is really interesting to me that we're in extreme fear because Bitcoin is sitting at $115,000 currently. And if you look at where Bitcoin is on the monthly, Bitcoin is even in October. We have given back all the gains that we had earlier in October, but we're sitting just even. We're not in a huge down month. We're sitting at no gain for October after a 5% September. So a lot of this fear is overblown. And I think the fear comes from just the crypto traders who got liquidated. I don't think most Bitcoiners, strategy investors were really even fazed by this. A 10% down day for Bitcoin isn't that unusual. That happens very frequently. And this is nothing like 2022 or even the COVID crash, which lasted a couple of weeks. I think by next week, we could definitely see a V-shaped recovery and be back to all-time highs for BTC. But we just got to wait and see. Time will tell with that. And then there was an announcement, a couple people were tweeting about this yesterday where BlackRock bought 45,000 Bitcoin worth around $5 billion. So I just wanted to tell you guys, this is something we've been tracking. We've been tracking this every single day almost since the ETS have launched. And if we look at what iBit did yesterday in terms of how much they bought $74 million worth of Bitcoin. So I'm not sure where this news is coming from of 45,000 Bitcoin was bought. We'll definitely see something on Monday when the Monday numbers come out. But I just think that you got to be careful when looking at any news headlines like this because people are just looking for engagement. And BlackRock did not buy 45,000 Bitcoin on Friday in that downturn. If that had happened, we wouldn't really even have seen Bitcoin trade off as much as it did. But looking at strategy here, we're now down 8 spots. The price is currently at around 304.79, back to around that $300 level, but we are still in the top 150 companies. We're down to 123, down 8 spots. But I think with the rebound of Bitcoin, if we see Bitcoin go back up to old all-time highs, I think strategy will climb this list. And it's going to be really interesting to see how strategy price action plays out with everything that happened on Friday after the market was closed and how Bitcoin is going to recover after all this massive liquidations in the crypto market. Next week is going to be very telling. So we'll be watching strategy pretty closely and keeping you guys up to date. And then I wanted to share some indicators with you guys because I think right now what a lot of people think is we're at the peak in the Bitcoin and crypto market. Like we're at the peak in the cycle. Like Q4 is when we top out and then we're going to go into a multi-year bear market. But if we look at the macro trend oscillator for BTC, you can see we just printed our first green bar here. We have had red bars over the past couple of years since early 2022. And normally when we see the bull run peak, we see around 6 to 10 of these green bars before Bitcoin peaks out. As you can see back here in 2017, we got around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 green bars before Bitcoin peaked out at around 20,000. Same thing back here in 2021. We got around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 before Bitcoin peaked out there. So looking at the Bitcoin trend oscillator, this is a monthly chart here. So looking at this, we could extend the Bitcoin bull run into sometime in 2026 if history is telling on that one. And then looking at some of the market cycle indicator tops over here on CoinMarketCap, they have the PUO multiple. Normally we see Bitcoin get up here in this red area when it peaks out. And we saw that back in 2017, it got up here, Bitcoin peaked out. Back here in 2021, it almost touched the red line. And that's where Bitcoin peaked out, especially in terms of volume. We know the actual peak was in November, but the volume, there was a lot more volume in April. And right now we're nowhere close to that red area. So we're actually trending more towards 1 right here than we are getting closer to around 3 or 4 for the entering of the red area. So it doesn't look like we're peaking out there as well. And then the pi cycle top indicator, this is something that we've looked at in our past videos, but you can see here, these are nowhere near looking like they're going to cross. So historically, when this green and blue line cross, that has marked the cycle top every single time. And right now it's looking like these are not anywhere close to intersecting at all. And then the Bitcoin rainbow chart, just to pull it up in the actual browser here, you can see it's actually at a buy rating. So it's at a green buy. So as this goes up in price, as Bitcoin goes up in price, you can see we get into maximum bubble territory, and is this a bubble, things like that. So right now Bitcoin is actually buy. So right now may be a good time to buy Bitcoin for the long term, according to the Bitcoin rainbow chart. And then this here is the PMI, which historically PMI has called the top in the Bitcoin and crypto market. As you can see right here, back in 2021, PMI peaked in the middle of the year. That's when Bitcoin about peaked in the crypto market. 2017, same thing here. 2013, 2014, same thing here. So PMI, when it is below 50, all that basically means that companies in the United States are actually not expanding, but they're contracting. So when we get above 50, that is when the companies are expanding, they're spending money, there's new jobs, there's more money being spent, and they're growing. And as you can see right now, we're below 50, which is really interesting because as we've been below 50 over the past couple of years, Bitcoin has performed very well, which is a good indicator that even though the economy isn't doing the best in the US, Bitcoin is still performing pretty good. And for you guys that think Bitcoin hasn't performed very well, I mean, we're still up around 6x from the lows of around 19,000 that we hit back in 2022. So pretty good performance from BTC. And that's really all I had for today's video. I hope you guys found some value. In terms of where I see this market peaking out at, I think we could definitely peak in Q4, but I'm kind of 50-50 on Q4 versus the extended cycle theory. But time will tell to see what we get in terms of where Bitcoin peaks out at. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. And I really appreciate you for watching all the way to the end. If you made it this far, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. We have new content coming out every single day. My name is Aaron from Bitcoin Bros. I'm out. See you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.
Everyone goes, Bitcoin is a bubble. It's tulips. Okay, tulips was the bubble in tulips in Amsterdam in 1630. That bubble in Amsterdam, where is the center of the global flower industry today? It is in Holland. The Netherlands has been the center of the global flower industry for 400 years. That tulip bubble brought 400 years of prosperity to Amsterdam. So to call it tulips is actually a compliment, not an insult. And then you go, what is a bubble? Well, I'll tell you what a bubble is. A bubble is a bull market in which you don't have a position. It is a psychological way of justifying that you didn't invest in something to call it a bubble. So you can call it a bubble and you can dismiss it. But the potential of Bitcoin to be the default cash system of the internet and the default savings vehicle of the internet is so extraordinary, I would argue that the risk is not owning Bitcoin, the risk is not owning Bitcoin, if that makes sense. Everyone should have an allocation in their portfolio. And don't try and use the fact that I don't understand it as an excuse. Because most people don't understand how the combustion engine works and they still own a car. Most people don't understand hypertext transfer protocol and they still use the internet.